I'm feeling like I got to talk about this. And so I'm going to talk about the past client database for loan originators. And I'm going to look at both angles. One, I'm an originator that's been doing this for many years, and I got a pretty extensive database, but I've not called them like ever. And then the other side of the coin is I'm brand new to the business and I don't have a past client database. So how can I deal with this? So that's what we're going to talk about right here, right now on the Mortgage Loan Officer Podcast. I'm your host, Frank Array, and we're brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. So let's start with the first group of people. These are originators who've been in business for a while, and you've got a database. I would say if you've got a database of about 300 and beyond, that's an excellent database to be working. And let's just start right here, right now. Let's talk about statistics and numbers. Of course, at the Mortgage Marketing Animals, we have Carl White, who I don't know if you're aware of this, but he has a master's in chemistry. And when you have a master's in chemistry, crunching numbers and A/B testing and things like that just seem to be kind of natural, to people like that, like Carl. And he's obsessed with tracking and data and information and A/B testing and all that kind of fun stuff. And so over the years, he's kept track of this kind of stuff and has figured out that, it's about, if you've got a 300-person database, you should be able to close about 3 deals a month out of your past client database. Now, these are, of course, are not necessarily transactions for the person in the database, him or herself, right? Many times these are referrals. In fact, a lot of time these are referrals. And that's the point of engaging with the past client database, is to dig up those referrals. So if you've got a 300-person database, you should be getting about 3 closed deals per month. Now, today on Loan Officer Breakfast Club, we had definitive proof of that. We had a gentleman named David Wicki. He's been a Freedom Clubber for about 6 months. And when he joined Freedom Club, of course, his Freedom Club coach got him on working his past client database. Dave Wicki's been at this for a while. He's got about a 400-person database. He has not engaged with them at all. Now, I should take that back. He's engaged with them like many of us do. Anything where we don't actually really have to speak to people, like, a birthday text or a holiday, Christmas cards, these types of things. He did that type of engagement, which I think a lot of us do in the industry. But at Mortgage Marketing Animals and Freedom Club, what we teach is that's just not good enough. In fact, what we teach is they should be getting an email once a week. They should be getting a snail mail piece from you once a month, and they should be getting an actual phone call from you once a quarter. And so Dave got on the program, started doing this. Check it out. Last month, 43% of his business was refinances, was from the past client database, and not necessarily refinance, but originated from his past client database. And it's not like that was 2 loans, right? He's doing very well. And then this month he's already got, the following month he's already got 3 that are slated to close. They're all refinances from his past client database, and it's just by going through this ongoing process. Now let's tackle the elephant in the room for the seasoned originator who went through all the good times, all the bad times over the years, has this really nice database, but has never made a phone call to them, or very rarely. What would be the reason that someone wouldn't engage with that past client database on the phone? I think most of the time it's just, they're afraid of what the response might be. A lot of us feel like it's going to be very awkward to make that call because we haven't spoken to these individuals in some cases for many years. And so I'm here to tell you, you are 100% correct. It'll probably be awkward for you, right? But I also want you to know, and this is based on all of our experience across many, many originators, thousands of originators who have been part of and are part of Mortgage Marketing Animals and Freedom Club, is that awkwardness is pretty much only on your end as the originator. It's not awkward for them, right? Because here's the truth. They're not thinking about you. They're not. I mean, it's not like they're worried about getting a phone call from you ever. It doesn't really mean a lot to them at all. You're worried about the perception that they'll have, is like, oh, now you're calling me. It's just, all I'm going to tell you is, based on my experience and the experience of many, many others, is that's just not going to happen. When you reach out to them and you give them a call, if they pick up the phone and you say, hey, it's Frank, I did your loan 4 years ago, your mortgage, I just wanted to call and say, hey, thanks for letting me help you back then, and just check on you and see how you're doing. That phone call, I can promise you 99% of the time is going to be something like, oh, cool. Yeah, well, good to talk to you. How are you? What's going on? That's how that call is going to go. These phone calls, guys, when it comes to making phone calls, should be like the easiest calls possible. It's not an active transaction that has any pressure going on. They're people that already know, like, and trust you. I liken it to this. Like, I've got grandkids, right? And I have a granddaughter, and she's 5 years old, and we have a toy box here in our house for her when she comes to visit. She can go into her toy box and get her toys out, and she does. But she'd rather get a new toy, right? She'd rather get a new one. She'd rather go to the store and get something new when she's got a bunch of really cool stuff in the toy box, but she'd rather get something new. And I think that's kind of how we think for some reason. I'm always after the new one, the new one, the new one. When in reality, we've got a toy box full of stuff that's really, really cool. If we just go in there and play with it, it's going to be awesome. We really need to look at our past client database like that. It's a gold mine. We hear it called this all the time. Coining a phrase that we've all heard, it's a gold mine. It is a gold mine. So let's take Dave Wicki, for example. Here he is, seasoned loan officer, 400 people in his database. Now he's on the program. Now 43% of his business lately has been pulled from his past client database. Think about this. When we're in a market where the purchase business is a little tight, right? Referral partners might be a little off on their business, that kind of a thing. Isn't it cool to have a database that we can go to and work properly and draw from and make up for any loss that we may have had? It just makes far too much sense. It's too easy of a phone call. It's very, very simple to do. If you can get on the full plan, email once a week, snail mail once a month, and a phone call every quarter. That's calling. The way we do that is we do 2 letters of the alphabet every Wednesday. That either first name or last name, doesn't matter how you sort it, but 2 letters of the alphabet every Wednesday. You just make those phone calls. And the other thing that comes up is okay, well, I get a voicemail. What am I going to do with a voicemail? You leave the same message. Oh, hey, it's Frank. I got your voicemail. Just want to call and say, hey, thanks for doing business with me in the past. Just hadn't talked to you in a while. You're on my mind. I thought I'd just touch base and see how you're doing. If you've got any questions, need any help with anything, let me know. If you want to get caught up on the market. Also, if you happen to have any friends, family, or coworkers that might find themselves in a situation where they need to do something with a mortgage, maybe debt consolidation or something like that, home improvement, whatever the case may be, or even a purchase, man, just think of me. I hope you think of me. Maybe connect me to them. I hope you have a great day. Give me a call back. I'd love to chat with you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Right? I mean, what's the big deal about that? That took me 15 seconds, something like that. And I move on with my day. Here's the other thing that we found with past client database calls. And you will get a lot of voicemails. Let's be honest, right? People are going to let you go to voicemail. That's the way it's going to be. But what we found with past client database calls, if we're consistent with it, if we do it every single Wednesday, it's the database calls that you made 3-4 weeks ago that they wind up calling you going, hey, I got your voicemail a month ago or so. Yeah, I got a friend or a family member or this. I like to look at voicemail as you're putting a little bit of marketing equity, right? A little marketing investment into a little digital marketing bank, which is called their voicemail. You're just dropping a little nugget in there. They'll get to it when they get to it, right? But you've left your message there, and it's like putting digital marketing into a digital bank is what it's like. Don't fear the voicemail. In fact, me and Steve Kyles did a podcast on the power of the voicemail. The voicemail is fantastic, man. So at any rate, yeah, if you've got a 300 person database or so, you should be able to get like 3 deals a month out of that. But you got to make the calls. It's a weekly email, it's a monthly snail mail, and it's a quarterly phone call. And again, these phone calls are easy. And trust me on this. Nobody's going to bonk you over the head or be mad at you. And if it does happen, I'd be shocked. And even if it did, okay, drop that one off the list and move on. Never fall into, I did a podcast on this as well. Never fall into, oh, this person didn't like me. Nobody's going to like this call. Everybody's going to be irritated. That's so stupid. No, one person does not dictate everyone ever in anything. So just keep on moving on. But I really doubt you'd even run into any resistance on it. I think you're always going to be met with great phone calls, great appreciation from people from hearing you. You might get a little disappointed in the fact that you might learn, since you haven't been doing this, you may have lost some business, right? Maybe you'll get that person who answers and goes, oh, shoot, man, my brother just bought a house. I wasn't thinking about you. I should have sent him to you. You're probably going to get that, which will reinforce why you need to do this. Okay. So, all right. So there's the first group of people. These are the people that have been at it for a while. They got some databases. Dive into it. Make the calls. Do the plan. Stop cheating yourself, cheating your family. And just because you're you know feeling weird about making a phone call, don't feel awkward. You're the only one that's feeling awkward on those calls. Nobody else is. Okay, just you. So stop. The person you're calling is not going to feel awkward that you called them at all. Okay. In fact, they're going to be glad to hear from you. That's how that's going to go. All right. Now let's get to the newbies. For the newbies out there, you might think, well, man, I don't have a database. So what am I going to do? I guess I have to buy leads and do all this stuff. You don't. I would tell you, if you join the mortgage marketing animals, we have the concise plan, exactly what you need to do. You need to get a couple of lists together and get rocking. You'll do extremely well. Join the mortgage marketing animals. You can touch base with us by simply going to dailysuccessplan.com. If you go to dailysuccessplan.com, we'll get you on the phone, have a conversation with you, and show you how you can get started right away as a newbie, right? But when it comes to the past client database, what are you going to do? There's a real simple solution for this. There's an app you can get on your smartphone, and it's called Export by Covve. And Covve is COVVE. That's Charlie, Oscar, Victor, Victor, Echo. Charlie, Oscar, Victor, Victor, Echo. Right? COVVE. Export by Covve. It might cost you a couple bucks, maybe $5 or something like that. It used to be free. And so you get that app, you put it on your smartphone, you push a couple of buttons, and it will email you a spreadsheet of every single person that's in your phone, in your contacts, every one of your contacts that are in your phone. And the remarkable thing that you'll find here is, most of us have had these phones now for a decade or whatever, and the phone number carries along. And when we change phones, it's all restored from the cloud and all this stuff. I've had people download their phone list, and it's been ridiculous numbers, like 7,000, 8,000. I've seen people with over 20,000 people in their smartphone. But I think on average, you'll find most people are over 1,000. I think you're going to wind up being at like, 12, 1,500, something like that. Pretty common is what you'll see. And that's pretty manageable. So once you get that spreadsheet and you're looking at it on your computer, you'll be able to, first of all, delete the columns you don't need. There's so much data that's available to put into your contact records in your phone, stuff you don't even know about. And just get rid of all the unimportant stuff. So you just want to keep the name, the phone number, and if there's an email in there by chance, if you happen to put it in there, the email, that's really all you want. Name, phone number, email. But you'll at least have name and phone number, right? Even if you don't have email. And that's all you're really looking for to make these calls. Then once you get rid of all the columns you don't need, go row by row and just see who these people are and try to remember who they are. And, you can weed out some stuff, Kaiser Hospital. Okay. We don't need that number, right? Petco. We don't need that number. But literally anybody else that's in there, that's a human being that you've had any sort of engagement with in the past, leave them in there. Even people you don't remember. Okay. Leave them in there. And what you want to do with that is get that input. Now, if you're brand new, you can just call from the spreadsheet and just make notes on the spreadsheet. But you could sort that alphabetically, call 2 letters of the alphabet every Wednesday. And for you guys, it would be, hey, this is Frank. I'm giving you a buzz. And, I just want to touch base and say hi, see how you're doing. Let you know I'm in the mortgage business now. That's what I do. If you're a realtor listening to this, I'm in the real estate business. I'm in the mortgage business. And so I just want to let you know that. So if you come across anything you need help with, or if you happen to have any friends, family, or coworkers that might need some help, maybe debt consolidation or investment property, or buy a home, or something like that, I'm just letting you know this is where I'm at, what I do, and appreciate if you connected them to me. Okay. And that's basically it. So you just touch base, see how they're doing, and let them know what you're doing. Right. Then the next time you come around, next quarter, you're just touching base again and seeing how you're doing, just checking in. Oh, just a reminder, man, if you know anybody that needs my help, I'd appreciate you sending my way. That's it. It's pretty easy to do. These are simple calls. They're already in your phone. They already know you. We have had people download Covve Export and get moving with it and immediately get business. One of my good friends, Glenn, he's in Southern California. I always struggle saying his last name. It's a Polynesian last name, so I won't even try to butcher it here on the podcast, but he's a sweet guy. I love him. And we're good friends. And he was new to the business and did Covve and started working it. And that was his single source of business. Immediately started getting business out of it. And that's what got him launched and got him going as a new loan officer, was downloading this Covve export by Covve. So for the new people, you're in the same boat. You do have a database. You've been carrying it around with you in your pocket for decades. It's all there. You can export it out and you can start making calls. They don't necessarily have to be people that you've done a mortgage for in the past. You don't have to do that. It could be just people that you know. These are database calls. Now, I would just encourage all of you that are listening, if you have not become part of the Mortgage Marketing Animals, I would just say this very, very boldly, that you are out of your mind. You're just simply out of your mind. This is like the most reasonable coaching platform on the face of the planet. It is a bona fide, incredible plan to follow. It absolutely works 100% of the time. It's called the Daily Success Plan. We have a phrase that we kick around, and it's so true. It's this: it's, you don't test the Daily Success Plan. You don't test it. The Daily Success Plan tests you, is what it does. And so if you're willing to adapt a plan that's legitimate, that will generate you purchase and refi business and referral business like crazy, you want to join the Mortgage Marketing Animals. That's what we're all about. It's what we've been about for decades, and it's what we'll continue to be about. There's no flashy gadgets and gizmos and gadgets, or none of that, really. We do believe in technology, and we've got some stuff that we recommend and stuff that we're partnered with. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to, engaging with people and asking for the business. That's what it comes down to. And if you can do that, you're going to have wild, wild success, whether you be a seasoned person or a newbie. And I would suggest you do that. So again, just go to dailysuccessplan.com, dailysuccessplan.com, to engage with the main office, learn a little bit about us, and you can get started from there. Call that past client database, guys. And if you're new, just download your phone thing and get on this thing. Right? You don't have to sit around with your jaw hanging open, stupefied, going, what am I going to do? Come on. There's a plan. It's easy. Working the past client database, part of it. So let's get going. With that, I'm going to get out of here. We'll join you here next week on the Mortgage Loan Officer Podcast, brought to you Mortgage Marketing Animal. It's always a pleasure. We'll catch up with you later. See you. Bye-bye.